We continue reading from Sri Isopanishad. We are on the 10th mantra. We are on the purport of the 10th mantra. I'll just read the translation. The wise have explained that one result is derived from the culture of knowledge, and that a different result is obtained from the culture of nations. So the wise, those who are wise, have explained to us that if we try to cultivate knowledge, then we will get one result. But if we continue to remain ignorant, then we are going to get a culture of nations. If we are going to cultivate ignorance, not only continue to remain ignorant, but if we are going to cultivate ignorance, we are going to get a different result. The result is not going to be the same. And so Prabhupada has put in the purport what Krishna says is cultivating knowledge, which is in the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says that in the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So we'll read on. One must be fixed in the tenets of the revealed scriptures. One must be fixed in the tenets of the revealed scriptures means we should have that firm faith in the scriptures, but those which are revealed, the revealed scriptures, because now many people, they misinterpret and say, oh, this is a scripture. No, but the original scriptures. One should completely refrain from practices which are detrimental to the interest of self-realization. So one should completely refrain from practices which are detrimental to interest of self-realization. That is also a part of cultivating knowledge. Is it this activity I will do, which is going to stop my progress in self-realization, or will it help me to enhance it further? That is that introspection that we have to do. One should not accept more than he requires for the maintenance of the body. One should not accept more than he requires for the maintenance of the body. But now we can see, oh, now our needs have been more and more, Before, when 20 years ago, or maybe 30 years ago, we didn't need cell phones. But now, we need laptops, but it was not there before. Huh? So we are seeing that what we are requiring is getting more and more. How do we decide? But anyway, we should try to understand what actually we need for the maintenance of the body. One should not falsely identify himself with the gross material body, and nor should one consider those who are related to his body to be his own. That's why we are advised to see through the eyes of knowledge, because how we are in the material world all the time, we are thinking we are the body. Every action, every thought, every word we are speaking, because we are thinking we are the body. And those who are considered, who are related to the body, we should understand that they are not mine. But this is knowledge. So we can see that how ignorant are we, or how knowledgeable are we? How much are we in this? So one should always remember that as long as he has a material body, he must face the miseries of repeated birth, old age, disease, and death. There is no use in making plans to get rid of these miseries of the material body. The best course is to find out the means by which one may regain his spiritual identity. So till the time we find ourselves in a body, maybe this body, or maybe in the next life, we might find we are in another material body. I hope not. I hope we find ourselves in our spiritual bodies in the next life. But anyway, as long as we have a material body, we will be facing this. Disease will come. We are getting old. We are going to be taking birth again till the time we have a material body, and death. So what is Sri Isopanishad saying? There's no use making plans to get rid of these miseries of the material body. The best course is to find out the means by which one may regain his spiritual identity. Why? Because how much ever effort we put to stop birth, death, old age, and disease, we can't stop it. We really can't. We can see, it's practically we can see, like COVID. We never heard of COVID 5 years ago. Although medical we have so much more medical facilities than before. We are living longer lives than before. We are having, in spite of many diseases, we are able to have productive, functional lives. But yet more and more diseases keep coming up, you know. So we need to understand who we truly are. One should not be attached to more than the necessities of life required for spiritual advancement. One should not be attached to more than the necessities of life required for spiritual advancement. Why is that? Why should we not be attached to more than the necessities of life required for spiritual advancement? Because whatever we are thinking of during the day, that is what's going to be, that is what is building our next body. We are already creating our next body, our next gross body by what we are attached to right now. So the less we get attached to the things here, the better for us. One should not be more attached to wife, children, and home than the revealed scriptures ordain. So the scriptures also, they have, okay, you should be attached, not that we neglect our family, but not more than that. Not more than that we get totally disillusioned, not understanding the truth. We have seen some people, right? They just can't understand what's happening if anything happens to their loved ones. So one should not be happy or distressed over desirables and undesirables, knowing that such feelings are just created by the mind. One should not be happy or distressed over desirables and undesirables, knowing that such feelings are just created by the mind. But how difficult it is to do this. Okay, we understand it's the mind, but it's our feelings, and we hold these emotions so precious to us. And then because of that, we get happy or distressed, you know. How do we do that? One should not be happy or distressed over desirables and undesirables, knowing that such feelings are just created by the mind. That is, Krishna is telling us to do this. He's telling us to do this. Well, I can just recommend that we try our best, you know, as much as possible. Does anybody have any suggestion for this? One should not be happy or distressed over desirables and undesirables, knowing that such feelings are just created by the mind. No?
Krishna, then how to control the mind?
And then Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, by suitable practice and detachment. But it's so difficult to control the mind, right? We identify ourselves with the mind so much. It's so difficult. I've still not yet found the answer. But Krishna says, by suitable practice and detachment. And what is the practice? By constant practice. Practice of what? Hearing and chanting. Hearing and chanting. And detachment. He's saying, don't be so attached to the material world, because our mind is always thinking of the material situation. So Krishna is saying, don't be attached to the sources of your misery. You know.
A lot of practice. Yes.
I'm sorry?
A lot of practice.
Lot of practice. Yeah, I mean, it's such a difficult thing for me to do also, you know. So difficult. But that's what he's saying. He's saying it's not impossible, but really difficult. And he's saying that keep thinking of the sources of misery. So by continuously reminding us that, oh, what am I thinking of? Is this thing going to make me unhappy? Then why should I make myself unhappy by thinking of this? You know, rather let me think of Krishna. But then we might say, oh, if I'm going to think of Krishna the whole day, how will I do my work? How will I function in this society? But it is possible. Otherwise, Krishna would not have said to do it. He would not have told Arjuna, especially Arjuna is going to fight a battle. He needs his full mental capability, everything he needs at that moment. So it is possible. Only we should have we just need to like really trust Krishna and do it.
The results was offered to Krishna, so that's okay. When you work with the motive and you do it with your best, you forget you have a mind, you have a body, just do it for the result. So maybe that's the way you train your mind, that you're doing it for Krishna.
Yeah, that's a good way. Yes.
Just offer the results. It's like, telling somebody that you sell $1 million and he's saying, okay, but what do I get out of it? He said, no, the result is given to Krishna. So he works like is his result. But ultimately he knows is the bottom line is Krishna. Then I think then he would be fully focused with offering the results like Krishna says.
Yeah, that's a good way. Yes, that's a good way, because that will give us detachment. And then because of that detachment, our happiness and distress will be reduced. Yes, that's very good. It's a good suggestion.
I also heard Anita Sevni Mataji's class, and she mentioned that because we are trained in such a way that we are empowering our mind. So by reading the Shastras, we should empower our intelligence. And then when the intelligence is the controller, then the mind has nothing to do, because right now we have empowered our mind. And that is the biggest thing, that we should read the Shastras, because when we know what is right and wrong, we can tell the mind, and the mind will have no power, because the intelligence is more powerful than the mind then. But right now, our mind is more powerful because we are not reading the Shastras. We don't know the do's and don'ts, what is good, what is right. So that's why we let the mind take the control.
Thank you. Yes.
That is also one of the problems that we are doing.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, so true. Yeah. Use the intelligence. And intelligence can be cultivated only by reading Shastra. Yes, so well put. Thank you.
True. Very true. Yeah, it's very true. But we are so trained that we are not even revealed the intelligence of even living properly these days. Like, for example, I see people who say, eat meat because it's good for your health and you will get weak if you don't eat. So our intelligence has been illusioned by the truth, like killing is bad. So, the intelligence is not easy to get that intelligence. But yes, you're right. With the higher intelligence, the mind can be trained. That's true. So gradually, probably it's a process.
Yeah, it's a process. Everything is, it is a process, because we have been conditioned in this material world for millions and millions of births we have been living here. And our desires are so deep rooted. We can't even imagine how deep rooted our desires are. How much is there inside the heart we really can't understand. I just feel, just try our best to hear and chant as much as we can, and then try to do our duty in the best possible way, connecting it to Krishna, that it's for the pleasure of Krishna.
And one more very important point Amrendra Prabhu mentioned, that whenever your mind tells you something to do, you have to always remind yourself that that's the desire of your mind. You are not that. You are a soul. You are spiritual. Your mind wants to do it. So you have to keep, definitely it's very difficult when we want to do something. If my husband tells me that, oh, this is this, then I'll not say that, oh, I'm Neha. Why should, I'm the soul. You're talking to Neha. That's very difficult. Yes, we don't do that. But we have to come to that point that we tell that this is my mind is desiring, but I'm not that. Why? My mind wants a Gucci purse, or my mind wants to do all this, but I'm the soul. Why do I have to listen to that? And then the very, very practical example yesterday, when I met a group of friends, and I don't know, this is a habit or something that we shouldn't, as in the Shastras, we have said that we shouldn't talk about Krishna in the people who don't believe about him. We read that so even the name comes out and then you can't help it. And then they say, Are har cheez mein Bhagwan. But that is their ignorance. Har cheez mein to Bhagwan hi hai na. और भगवान के अलावा तो कोई चीज है ही नहीं, उनसे अलग तो कुछ है ही नहीं दुनिया. But because those people, and I just prayed for them कि भगवान वो भी आपको याद कर पाए हर चीज में, because That's our mind. We can't blame them. That's their mind is trained in such a way कि हर चीज में भगवान नहीं है. तो क्या कर सकते हैं हम? But we have to train our mind कि हर चीज में भगवान ही है, उनके अलावा. Like always Shilpa ji says that either it is Krishna or it is Krishna's. There is nothing except that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Neha. Keep training, yes. Keep repeatedly. If we hear repeatedly here, then it will give us the strength to do it then. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, it's easier said than done, but practice like it needs time.
Yeah,
Thank
repeatedly. What can we do? You know, we can just like how a spider, we can't give it up. We have to practice. We try, we will fail. Again, we try, we'll fail, we'll try, we'll fail. But I'm sure there is at least one atom of progress happening with each time, you know? And because Krishna sees the sincerity, honestly, we really can't do anything much. We are just so entangled here in our desires, in our consciousness. You know, what can we do? But Krishna sees the heart. He just sees, oh, this person is really making an effort. Let me help him. You know, it's just that's why. Like if we just try with some sincerity, we'll fail, but like that, we'll get Krishna's attention. Right? It's very difficult for us to do it by ourselves. Very difficult. And we can seek his mercy. And which he does. Which he will see, you know.
I must say that this association that we do in the morning, that is like kind of an armor we are wearing out when we go in the material world. That, okay, let the arrows shoot at me because I have the armor of my morning sadhana, of my Srimad Bhagavatam reading, of my association of Shilpa ji and all the other devotees, of my family, my spiritual family. I have the armor. So we are not scared because we know that I have that armor and Krishna is always there. So yes, this is like an armor, like an armor of 3.5 hours that we are wearing for the whole day. So yes.
It's true, yeah. And that's why Prabhupada did the morning program, as you rightly said, that, you know, armor, so we can keep maintaining, keep trying, like, you know, endeavor to remember Krishna throughout the day. Yeah, so thank you. Thank you for putting that tried and tested stamp that it really works. Thank you for that. So then another point of knowledge, one should become an unalloyed devotee of the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna and serve him with rapt attention. Now this is knowledge. This is knowledge. One should become an unalloyed devotee of the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna and serve him with rapt attention. Oh my God, what are we doing? Serve him with rapt attention, unalloyed. Unalloyed means pure devotee of the supreme, of the personality of Godhead Krishna, and serve him. But we can see that all these things are being said for our good. You know, why all this? So that we can feel happy, the bliss, the internal, we just heard in Caitanya Caritamrta, the happiness that Krishna is feeling, the pure devotees feel that. So we can see that how the Vedic scriptures, why they're telling us do certain thing and don't do certain thing, is just so that we can be happy. That's why Krishna has given us the Vedas. We can see at every moment, we can see he just wants us to be happy. He loves us so much, you know? So he's the speaker of the Vedas. And then he's saying, yeah. And true happiness is just in association with Krishna. Then one should develop a liking for residence in a secluded place with a calm and quiet atmosphere favorable for spiritual culture. And one should avoid congested places where non-devotees congregate. How to do that? We all live in big cities. How to do that? One should develop a liking for residence in a secluded place with a calm and quiet atmosphere favorable for spiritual culture. And we should avoid congested places where non-devotees congregate. So we can see that we can try to make that sacred space in our heart. We can try to make that sacred space in our home, or like how we are doing it now. We are trying to make the sacred space over the internet for us. So at least, as Neha pointed out, that it gives us that strength to go out and face others. And because we are a preaching movement, so we have to be where everyone else is and give them Krishna, tell them about Krishna. Prabhupada left Vrindavan, went to America to give Krishna to everyone. So we are following in the mood. Lord Chaitanya, Srila Prabhupada, give Krishna to everyone. So I'll just read the 18th one, and then one should become a scientist or philosopher and conduct research into spiritual knowledge, recognizing that spiritual knowledge is permanent, whereas material knowledge ends with the death of the body. So we should become a scientist or philosopher and conduct research into spiritual knowledge. So Krishna is saying we should really try to understand, go deeper into spiritual knowledge, recognizing that spiritual knowledge is permanent, whereas material knowledge ends with the death of the body. We, in fact, take so much efforts trying to understand material knowledge. Years and years we spend in universities, schools. But all that knowledge, again, when we leave the body, we have to start again. And whereas we barely give any time to culture, spiritual knowledge, 15, 20 minutes also we give every day, we'll say, oh my God, so much time is gone. I have so many other things to do. Then we'll say, oh, but we need this material knowledge. Otherwise, how will we live in the world? Sure, do it. But understand that it's just for me to maintain the body, but I need to also cultivate spiritual knowledge side by side. Any other comments or questions? Or anything to share? No, then we'll read further into the purport tomorrow. Thank you so much for listening in. Thank you so much for all your participation. Shri Isopanishad ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.